Hello, World Wide Web, Wild Wolf Van Weagle, barking at the sheep again. I know I haven't been up to the goal I set of myself of setting one of these out a week. Lack of motivation. Trying to get better quality video. Not that it should make any difference, but I understand. Better quality video, people are more likely to take in a look at it. Should it be that way? I don't think so, but it is that way. I do understand. I recently had one of my friends kick me in the shorts, encourage me a little bit to do this. Thank you. I need that. What I want to talk to you today about is the disciples of Jesus. Who are they? Who are they? To answer that question comes to my mind. I think it's in like Matthew 17, talking about the temple tax. Peter was challenged, hey, doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax? Peter says, yes, of course. And then he went to talk to Jesus. Jesus says, go out, cast a line, pull on a fish, allow the temple tax for you and me. Now, I don't think Jesus would have lied about the age of the other disciples. And I don't think they would have been not going into the temple. I think what it was is the rest of the disciples, other than Peter and Jesus, hey, they were not of age. Why would Jesus choose disciples from young people like that? I pondered this for quite a while. And it finally came to me. When we get old, we get invested in our ways of thinking. We're not as easily going to throw out old ideas that we've put our entire way of thinking hanging on these ideas. It's hard to do. I have difficulty doing it. I try to do it, but there are some things, just throwing that idea away, not so easy. There's people who think differently than me. Stephen Hawking comes to mind. Now, he's pretty heavily invested in a lot of the ways he thinks. There are axioms that he has that everything hangs on. For him to throw away one of those axioms, his entire thought process falls apart. He has to start over, ground zero. I do not envy that. That's not somewhere where I want to go. Hopefully I don't have to throw away a whole lot of underpinnings in my thought process, but that could happen, where I have to completely discard everything I'm thinking and start over. And at my age, that's a frightening thought, that you've been living your life completely wrong for so long. Psychologically, I don't want to do that. Intellectually, emotionally, I believe I should, if that's how wrong my thinking is. However, back on subject. These young people, not so invested, they're being asked to turn the world on its ear. I think it's easier for them to do than it is for people my age. Now, Jesus later on sent out his disciples. Well, maybe it wasn't later on. I'm not sure where it is in the timeline, to be honest. I'd have to go look that up. But anyways, he sent them out 2 by 2. By the way, the Mormons do that. They send them out 2 by 2. I applaud them for that. Doesn't mean that sending them out 3, 4, 5 at a time, something less formal, would be a bad thing. But they're trying to follow a biblical model, and I appreciate that. Of course, that biblical model, they were told, hey, don't take a change of clothes, don't take a money purse. I don't think they're quite following that part of it, but I don't know anybody who does that quite that way anymore, so I'm willing to accept that. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe that's where I'm invested in my old ways of thinking. Don't know. You have a chance to challenge that. You have a chance. If you're young, don't have to be young, but if you're young, I think it's easier for you to challenge that way of thinking. Maybe that's wrong. Back on subject. When he sent these disciples out, one of the things he said is you're to be as sly as serpents and innocent as doves. To me, that says one thing. We're not to do anything to be charged, accused of anything. Be truthful, be honest, be sincere, obey the laws. Don't give people an opportunity to say, oh, these are just rabble-rousers, and discount what you're saying. At the same time, we're told to be sly as serpents. That means understand the world that's around you. I can boil it down to one thing. I'd say jaded idealism. Jaded idealism means you know how the world works. It doesn't work the way it should. But you also understand there are ideals. Stick to your ideals. I think young people have a natural tendency to be jaded idealists. I'd like to think that I'm still a jaded idealist. I try to be a jaded idealist. I try to think in ways that are outside the norm, accepting the way the world is and saying, hey, we can't make it any better, because in fact, I don't believe that. I believe we can. Going to another subject, jaded idealism. One of the things that kind of sticks in my craw is evolution. You ever seen those pictures in the textbooks in schools? Start with this dark ape and they slowly change into this upright, light-skinned human. That's pretty typical. Think about it. That's a very racist thing to say. It's like light-skinned, more evolved, dark-skinned, not so evolved. And it's subconscious. Very, very subtle, but it sneaks in. Evil, I will even say. Now, if they just change the pictures and they go dark skin to dark skin, yeah, you get rid of that bias, but it doesn't necessarily make everything right. The whole idea of evolution, I think, is flawed. Natural selection, on the other hand, I do agree. Example, let's just say we have wolves and they have just two genes. There could be more, but let's just say for argument, there's two genes that say how long their fur is going to be. Could be long fur, short fur. Could be long short fur, dominant or recessive. Short fur, dominant or recessive. Anyways, that whole mix goes back and forth. Puppies are born from parents that have all the genetic markers of either way. It's a cold environment. The ones who have the short fur are going to be at a disadvantage. Whether that's a severe disadvantage or a slight disadvantage, there's going to be a natural selection for the ones with long fur to survive. That's not evolution, that's natural selection. I agree with natural selection. I believe that happens all the time. A lot of people will say, hey, Noah's Ark's a bunch of crap. Because you've got all these different animals, all these different cats. Let's just take domestic cats. How many different breeds of domestic cats are there? Does that mean that there were all those different breeds of cats on Noah's Ark? I don't think so. I think there was one, it might have been a couple, and all these different, by natural selection, diverged from those. Does my understanding make it right? No, it does not. However, I previously thought about the idea of de-evolution, and this is something we can actually investigate. Could be they'll find evolution is happening. I'm not thinking that's going to be the case. I really want to know. Maybe it's going to turn my world on its ear. Maybe it'll turn their world on its ear. Let's look at it. Just go out there. It doesn't even have to be people. Go look at cats. Take a litter of kittens. Look at their genetics. Look at the genetics of their parents. Genes are missing. We got de-evolution going on. New genes are showing up. We've got evolution going on. Could be both are happening. Which one's the stronger? Which one's the weaker? Going to be kind of hard to determine. But I think we need to, if we are honest with ourselves, look at this. We have the ability to do so. Why aren't we? I'll tell you what I think. I think there's too many people out there who are in the academic world who are too heavily invested in evolution. This is a very scary thought. This could shake the very foundations of what we've been teaching for years. This could change all my way of thinking. I don't want to do that. I understand. I don't want to do that with my set of beliefs. Why should I think you would want to take and shake the foundations of your own beliefs? Evolution is a theory, by the way. It's not a fact. You'll see it in our culture. Oh, evolution is a fact. It's not. It's a theory. It's an unproven theory. Could be, doing the investigation I'm talking about, will lead to it actually being a proven theory. That being the case, I have to take and rechange my way of thinking. I'd like to have some empirical data that I can take a look at and say, this makes sense. Doesn't mean that that empirical data can't be twisted. We all know about climate change and the lies that went on with fudging numbers. Those people weren't scientists. Those people were heavily invested into the dogma that they wanted to prove. And if the facts didn't prove it, facts be damned. We're going to prove it. Prove it? You're going to deceive people into believing it. I don't agree with that. If you are young and you are idealistic, you should not like that either. I'm hoping to reach enough of you to where you understand. That is the older generation. That is people who are invested in their own way of thinking and will not compromise on it. They don't care what the facts are. They don't care what the truth is. I hope you'll reach out for the truth. I think that's why Jesus chose his disciples the way he did. Those were the people more likely to have an effect on the world. Those were the people who would just naturally throw out old ideas, investigate new ideas, and say, which is better? Which fits? Which is understandable? A lot of mysticism in religion doesn't mean that it's wrong. A lot of mysticism in New Age religion. Hey, hanging crystals. It's possible that hanging crystals actually does help your health. I don't think that's necessarily a bunch of crap. I just don't think it's proven one way or the other. If there was nothing wrong with sorcery, nothing wrong with mysticism, I don't think there'd be any warnings in the Bible about going down those paths. I think there's probably power in a lot more things than we give credit to. Yeah, this is kind of running long, so let's cut it short for now. God bless us all. We'll catch you around.